Hello everyone, it's Leslie Hassler here with your Biz Rules Business Coaching from the carpool. I don't know about you, it's been a busy week so far, which is great. At speaking engagement this morning with the Aggie Business Roundtable, and then had a lunch meeting with kind of a strategic partner, doing some really cool stuff there. And then followed up with kind of a mastermind meeting about growing meetups with some other coaches. So some good stuff there. And then kind of rounding out the day with finishing up with my intern and talking with you guys. So it's amazing the things you can get done between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. But you can have some really great things here. So I thought today we'd talk about cross-selling, upselling, and value add. All right, so let's just define the three real quick first. So a cross-sell is when you have your core product and then you sell something that's complementary. Let's think of this. So if you were at Neiman Marcus and Nordstrom, great at these things. I will, since I don't go shopping for men's clothing, I'll talk about shopping for women's clothing. But if I go in and buy a dress, a cross-sell would be, do you have a necklace? Do you have shoes? Would you like to look with shoes with that? Should I go grab you some shoes? Oh, look, the shoes are perfect with that. That's a cross-sell. An upsell is really just that, where you're selling up. So the best example of this is McDonald's. And would you like to supersize, or would you like to make that a meal? You know, if you say, I don't eat at McDonald's, so I don't remember what they have. Are they the quarter pounder? So what if you order, I'd like a cheeseburger. They say, great, would you like fries with that? That's kind of a cross sell. But if they say, well, would you like to supersize that? Well, then that's an upsell, right? You're increasing what somebody's buying from you from the beginning. So that's kind of those two things. And then there's this idea of a value add. And I bring this in because as service-based entrepreneurs, sometimes we can't cross-sell or we can't upsell because we don't have anything to offer. Let's see. I know Ashley is watching, so I can see Ashley watching. So Ashley, I'm going to use what you do as an example. So if you are a fitness instructor or run a fitness studio, an example of cross-sell would be t-shirts and retail and swag kind of gear, if you will. An upsell would be a 5-pack, a 10-pack of selling somebody from a single time into a membership program or maybe a monthly retainer. That's kind of those examples of what a cross-sell or an upsell would be. A value add is just that, is when you're adding value or perceived value. And here's what's key. Perceived value is huge. And it's so specific to your clients that I'm going to give you some examples, but just because it works for one business doesn't mean it works for another business, okay? So a perceived value might be where if you're a coach, let's say, and you mostly work one-on-one, if you throw in something like a home study course, all right, where you're adding additional things that people are getting, but the home study course in and of itself doesn't cost you a whole lot, right? It's probably a lower ticket item that has high profitability, but doesn't cost you to actually give it, okay? Another kind of value add might be something that actually has a cost. So if you're thinking of things like client appreciation gifts, okay, that's one thing. My new clients, they come on, I ask all their favorites and all that nice fun stuff, and I send them a welcome gift that's completely tailored to them. That's a value add. Why is it a value add? Because not everybody does it, honestly. Another value add might be having client-only specials. So a lot of times people talk about discounting. And I don't like to discount and never suggest discounting, but sometimes, especially my design business, if I knew a person, I didn't have to learn them again, right? So if I wanted to give a client appreciation value add, I could say, you know what, since I know you and we're not going to have to go through all of this stuff, I can do it for less. But I only do that for clients. And I would use this all day long in my sales conversations. People want to know, can I have a discount on that? And I'm like, well, you know what? We really aren't able to discount for our new clients. That's something that we reserve to be able to use periodically with our our existing clients. I've just made it a value add. That way, if I do it or if I don't, that's another thing. Another value add, if you're, there's a banker that I have a strategic relationship with, and he does a great job every week of just sending out kind of a summary of the week's economic, a summary of what's happened in the world from an economic standpoint, from a financial standpoint, from if GDP's just been released, whatever. It's just a short, quick, like, hey dudes, here's what's happened, in the markets this week. Here's what you need to be concerned about. Here's what you don't, and that's it, right? It's a value add. It's something that somebody is doing that cements the relationship with their clients without necessarily incurring a lot of cost or time in trying to do it. So it does have to be sustainable. Here's how you can use these things, okay? So an upsell is an easy way to increase your business. That makes sense because you've already spent time actually getting the client in the door through marketing, through sales, all of those things. So if you're able to upsell and add value through the upsell, then it's easy money. That's what I love. Cross-selling is the same thing. If someone is, and here's why, if someone is buying from you already, they are more likely to continue buying from you or buying again. We just have to promote that. And a lot of times people don't use those upsells or cross-sells to really promote additional purchases in a business. If I'm working with a business, let's say, they've got a good track record with clients. They've got a good momentum. I won't put a number on it because every business is different. But if they've got that, when we're looking at growing their business, I'd rather increase my purchases with the existing clients because I can double that business using that tactic in a way that doesn't cost the business a whole lot, but makes them a whole lot more money. Right? Or if it does cost, we're doing internal client marketing, and it's ever so much more efficient and it has a greater conversion to actual sales than anything else. So that's one of those things I think you really need to be looking at is, do you have past clients that you haven't served in a while that maybe now that you have a new product offering that you could now come in and do a cross-sell technique with? Or are you really serving your clients to the full extent when you're in that sales conversation and you really need to be starting to upsell them from an earlier standpoint? I want to give you another example of kind of upselling, and I'll use graphic design in this case. So a lot of people starting out for businesses want a logo, right? So it's really easy just to get stuck in building the logo. But if you know enough about startup businesses, you know that not only they need a logo, but then they probably want that logo for an email signature. They probably want that logo for a business card. They probably want that logo maybe for some printed material. I don't know. Maybe that means they need a brochure or a rack card or something, right? You can see there's 5 opportunities to be able to upsell that client. And so you're adding value as you go there, but you're also increasing your average sale, which is really, really key. So you want to increase your average sale, and then you want to increase the number of times people purchase from you. These are such great strategies. You can use them as startup, but if you're one of my established businesses, easy money, and you get to work with the people that you love anyway, so it's that much more fun. Value add, really, where do you put that into play? Well, the value add, I really like it to be extraordinary things that no one in your industry is doing. So it really sets you out from a competitive advantage standpoint, but it can also be used to upsell or create programs that may not exist in the marketplace. We were just doing this with one of my clients who owns a fitness studio and creating like a membership kind of up level, somebody, kind of a club, so to speak. And everything that's in the club really is about value add, right? It's all about high value for the client, but low cost for the owner so that it's easy to do and it's pure profit, which is a really good key indicator. So when you look at these techniques, you can use all 3. Sometimes I think the value add really starts to, you need You need some client history to know what your clients find valuable. You will find oftentimes it's these smallest things. Hi, Shirley. How are you doing? Shirley's saying, I'm here. And Shirley's actually one of the people, I use her for all my client gifts. And hi, Lynn. I'm so excited, guys. We've got Mastermind tomorrow. It's going to be a great time together. I almost hate that we only have 4 hours together because we get to do such great work. So I'm excited about that. But it's really this kind of concept of, okay, how can you increase the sale? Like I said earlier, the hardest thing you do is market to new clients and find new clients. It's the most costly investment that you need to make in your business. So once you have these clients in, they are yours to maximize in a highly ethical way, to add value, to do those things. So upsell, again, is just about increasing your average sale per client, making sure that you're meeting them for all of their needs. And sometimes, guys, even I don't ask the right questions to know where the opportunity for an upsell is. Cross-sell is that cross-promotional. It's usually complementary products. Like you said, if you went to go buy a shirt, would you like a tie with that? If you went to go buy a dress, would you like shoes with that? Naturally pairing things that come with that. Howdy, Albert. Good to see you here. And then that value add. And that value add, like I say, guys, when you look at it, you will think it's so simple. But these are things that your clients find extraordinary and really will remember you for. And when they remember you for these value add things, you know what they do? It's this really crazy thing. They talk about you. They talk about you like crazy. And that's marketing that you can't pay for almost. So that's kind of where we're at. So that's what we're talking about. Upselling, cross-selling, and value adds, and how you can use that to grow your business. So it is almost 3 o'clock. 4 minutes, and I will say I've talked a lot today, so I'm going to take the next 4 minutes not to talk and be quiet before I have boredom in my world again. But thanks for joining us today, guys. We'll be back tomorrow with another coaching for carpool series. If you have something you'd like me to chat about, put it in the comments below. Let me know. If you like the series, please share. And as always, 2 things. Our next Six Figure Success Club meetup is next Tuesday at Coffee House Cafe from 10:30 to 11:30. And it's called Coffee and Crazy Talk. So it's not meant for card pushing. It's meant for relationship building, but also to offer a place for entrepreneurs just to come talk with other entrepreneurs about the crazy stuff that we're doing. Because you got to admit, everyone that's not an entrepreneur does think we're a little crazy. And that will be all for today, guys. So if I can ever be of assistance to you, please feel free to reach out to me. See, this is why I need to stop talking. I can't tongue-tied. But until then, we'll talk to you tomorrow. This has been Leslie Hassler with Your Biz Rules Business Coaching. Thanks, guys.